Okay, good morning, students. I think most of the topics from the first lesson we have already covered. So here I am going to just have some discussion on the some of the topics which already you have got an idea about, but in details perhaps we have not discussed so far. So levels of management, already you know what it is all about, right? You already know what is level of management. Uh, what are the different stages or the layers involved out there. So levels of management is basically wherever you find managers are present. So this pyramid, if you see in an organization, okay, this is the pyramid, if you can see. So you will get to understand that in this pyramid there are three layers. Okay, this is the first layer, this is the second layer, and this is the third layer. Okay, so each layer involves a group of people who are driving a certain specific group of function, collection of functions. They are doing some activities to perform and discharge their duties. Now you see, here one line I have mentioned that explaining the diagram, that the smaller pyramids indicate the departments and functions. Now you might ask me, ma'am, what about all this? This is one, this is another, like this. Inside the bigger pyramid there are some small shapes are there, right? Some are in a pyramidal shape, some are in a kind of this kind of rectangular, and shapes are there. So as I mentioned here, that these individual areas are actually signifying departments, right? There are many departments, but for your understanding, here already four departments have been shown. So you see, sales and marketing, this one is sales and marketing, this one is manufacturing and production, this one is finance and accounting, and this one is human resource. Okay, there might be many other, administration is there, operations are there, quality is there, many other departments depending on the relation, customer relationship might be there. So all these are present. So basically these four departments are quite prominent in any kind of organization, and this manufacturing and production department is there only in case of a manufacturing organization. In a service organization, of course, you will not find this department. Instead, you will be finding some other departments present out there. So whatever. So these individual areas, for example, this particular line, this one is starting from here till here. Okay, this is a red color. If you can see, they are actually signifying your this one, sales and marketing department. Then this particular area is signifying manufacturing and production. This area overall, the smaller pyramid, okay, it shows finance and market accounting, and this one is actually specifying, the purple one, it shows human resource. Okay, this kind of things which are present. Now one thing you may ask, that ma'am, what about the color intensity? Here I mentioned the intensity of the color, that means the depth of the color, that shows the, that reflects the concentration of staffs involved, the number of people involved. You see, in this particular department only, the color is lighter at the top, where it's almost in a very little darker in the middle, whereas it is the darkest at the bottom. That means what? It indicates that here the most number of people are involved. That is why you can find the area out here is wide as compared to the top area. Here the number of people in this department are less, here little more, and here since it is at the bottom line, here we will find the maximum. So this is the system how organizations, they prepare the organization structure, where you can find departments, you can find levels, and you can find number of people more at the bottom and less at the top. That's why it takes the shape of a pyramid. Okay, in case of a department also the same thing. This is the organization as a whole. This entire diagram is about the organization. So more people at the bottom, because more number of people in every department is there, whereas less number of people in every department is there at the top. So we can find that it takes the shape of a pyramid. Even in a department also, more people are at the lower levels and less people at the top levels. So in a department also the shape is like a pyramid. So this is what. Now you see, it's mentioned there. What else? The framework of hierarchical position, that you have already understood. So this is about this diagram. I guess you have understood. So departments are also known as the functional areas. Okay, the another name of department is known as function. So whenever you learn or hear about the functional areas, functional parts, functional segments in an organization, always synonymize that with the word department. Understood? Okay, now let's proceed. I think you have understood this diagram. Go through the diagram. Okay, any doubt, just let me know. So here it is like a reverse tree. I have just shown the more number of people, how it's there at the bottom, and gradually it decreases as it moves towards the top. So it takes the shape of a tree. More branches at the bottom and only the root is at the top. Reverse tree structure. Okay. So at the top position, whom do you find at the top level? You find the, basically you find the board of directors. Okay, the people who are at the management level, who want to make policies, decisions, set objectives for the organization depending on the environmental clues and environmental stimulation. They have to, environmental stimuli, they have to make the decisions, they have to make the objectives, what is going to be the upcoming venture for the organization, what the organization will strive to achieve in next coming 1 year, 2 year, 5 years down the line. All these things are charted out by this handful of people who are based at the top level. They are the board of directors, the supreme level of management. They manage, and normally we talk about management, we talk about the board of directors. Okay, the management has decided, that means the top level has decided, because the decision making power is vested mainly with the top level. The people who are at the highest position, obviously they will take the decision, right? So that is understood. So now gradually as the pyramid comes downwards, you will find the decision making authority gets decreased, and as it reaches to the bottommost level, you will find people don't have any right normally to take any decision or any broader decision, and they just have to follow and abide by all the rules, all the codes and decisions which are made by the upper level. So this is how the functions are drawn. Now you see one thing, my dear, already you have understood this one. Okay, so let's proceed. So this is the organization structure. Just a sample diagram has been given to you all. Just go through it. Now, depending on the organizational system, the structure may little bit vary. The job positions might be little different. There might be some new names or some names you will find which you may not be finding in some other structure. But basically, the shape of the structure or the concept is the same. It's like a reverse tree. Okay. Now, let's talk about the functions of the top level managers. Okay. Top level managers, they are basically at the strategic level. They make the strategic decisions. Okay. And generally they are what is involved out there, they managerial skill. They have to manage the whole organization. Okay, the top level. Then the middle level managers, they are basically the conceptual skill, human skill, how to manage with the people. Some technically they have to be sound in their own respective functional areas, like departmental heads are there. If I am at the head of the marketing department, so I should be having a good conceptual and technical skill about the marketing area, because I have done my studies or my expertise I have acquired on that particular line of activity only. So this way the conceptual and the technical skill are needed in the relevant respective managerial areas in the middle level management. And first line management is basically they are the lower level people. You can find more number of people involved there. Okay, this is just a symbol, a metaphor has been used there in the form of this diagram to make you understand the concept better. So this lower level management, they are basically involved with the human skills. Okay, mainly the human skill is present with them. What kind of human skill? Because this first line, why they are called as first line management? Because they are at the bottom line of management. Below them you will not find any level of management. The level of management ends with them. Okay, below them you will be finding only non-managerial staffs who are going to be managed by this lower level management. And managing non-managerial staffs is really very difficult, because these people are generally little raw, they come little, they're skilled, definitely. Their manual dexterities and all, they are quite good with, but the conceptual skill is less. To make them understand a concept, the judgmental skill and all are very, very less. So handling those type of raw people is quite challenging. So this challenging task is going to be handled by this lower level managers. Okay, so now let's just give another briefing about the functions. Just go through the functions, you will understand. I have explained everything very, very clearly in every line. These are the job positions involved, already discussed. The chief executives, the board of directors, whoever is there. Then the departmental heads and managers are there in the middle level. Okay, the functions are given there. They identify the departmental objectives and guiding the lower level to achieve the objectives. So the middle level managers, what they need to do, they have to identify that what will be the objective for their own department depending on the overall objective which have been set by the top level. Okay, they have to decide that in order to achieve the organizational objectives, what should be the contribution of my own department, because I am the charge of my department, I'm in charge of my own department. So I have to decide that. Then I have to get this objectives of my department. After framing the objectives, I have to get it approved from the top level. And once I am approved with my objectives that I have decided for my department by the top level managers, I can immediately start interpreting the same to the lower level and say that, see guys, now I am done with my objectives. This will be the goal of our department for this year, this period. Please get it done with the non-managerial level people, because ultimately the execution or the activity will be done by this. So this department, or rather I can say this group of workers, they will be actually into the practice of fulfilling the objectives which are set by the middle level managers for their own departments and the top level managers for the overall organization. So lower level managers, won't they set any objective? Top level managers will set the objective for the whole organization. Middle level managers will set the objectives for their own departments, and I told you all will be in the same line. That means departmental objectives should be in the line of the organizational objective. It should be like, if the departmental objectives are fulfilled, then only there is a possibility that the organizational objectives can be fulfilled. Right? So this is called keeping this in a linear trajectory, in a linear frame. So if that is not there, then it is very difficult for getting the organizational objectives at it, because all will move in different directions in that case. So unity of direction is very, very essential. In our next chapter, we are going to learn about one particular management principle, unity of direction. Please mark this word, unity of direction. Okay, so this unity of direction, it means that direction means what? Movement. That unity means one, single. That departmental goal, individual goal and organizational goal should move towards the same direction only. So this is very important. Remember that, okay? Acha. Now you see, let's move. And there is two pencil kind of shapes. Have you seen it? Huh? So this one is about authority. And there is, you see, this pointed portion is at the bottom and the flattened portion is at the top. And here it is just the reverse. What does it mean? It means it moves downward. Understood? It moves downward. Authority is vested mainly with the top management people, and responsibilities are basically with the lower management people. So remember, very, very important, authority and responsibility. Another management principle you will learn in the next chapter. Top management has the most volume of authority. Middle management has little less volume of authority. Authority means empowerment, right, अधिकार हम जिसे कहते हैं, है ना, जो सबसे बड़ा होता है उसका सबसे ज्यादा अधिकार होता है. And lower management, they hardly have any authority, very low authority. Just to get the work done, whatever minimum decision is required, they can take, if the top level people permit them to take that much of decision that is required. Otherwise they won't be able to perform well. So very nominal amount of decision making power is vested with the lower level, and minimum whatever is required for to get the work of individual department done, that is vested with the middle level, and the top level has the maximum volume of authority. These workers, they don't have any authority. I'm really sorry to say, because they are not the managers, and the people who are not the managers, authority cannot be vested with them. So authority moves from the top to bottom. Top level can give authority to the lower. Without getting permission from the top level, I cannot take any authority. Tomorrow I cannot say, no, your school will be closed for another 3 months. That I cannot say. Until unless the authority says, we have to follow. That means lower level people, they cannot take a decision until unless it is permitted by the top level. And responsibility, I am responsible to my boss, like that. So I think you have understood, my dear. Responsibility moves from I am responsible to my superior, I am answerable to my superior, and my superior should give me some authority. Then only I can use that power in my activity, in my function. So that's why this two, pencil kind of shapes have been given there to make you understand that top level has more authority, lower level has less authority, lower level has most responsibility, top level responsibility towards the down people is less. Responsibility means here I talk about responsibility of answering back. If I give you some assignment, give you some work, you are responsible to submit it on time, reporting. Okay, that is called responsibility here. So like this, let's move. The top management, the functions are there. What kind of functions they have? These are the designations they have. The chairman, CEO, board of directors, managing director, president, vice president, chief operating officers, and many more. So see, not many more, few more, because the numbers of people working at the top level is few, not very high. Okay, now the main tasks. First, determining the organizational goal. Overall, the organizational objectives are to be determined by them. Making the master plans. Now, what is meant by that, a master plan? What is the difference between a plan and a master plan? Master plan is basically the overall plan. Okay, overall. That means the plan which, master plan means overall plan. Okay, overall plan. So that is the master plan. So the master plan refers to the overall plan, and this plan is basically made by the top level managers. Based on this overall plan, the master plan, the bigger plan, the broader plan, small plans are made by the lower level management, because planning is one of the functions of management, all pervasive. Wherever managers are there, they have to plan. So what kind of plan they will have? They will have plan with lower intensity, lower significance, but the major plan will be made by the top level. So based on this plan, smaller plans are to be made, because every work, every activity should be backed by a plan only. Next is overall master policy and strategy formulation. My dear, here also I can add one particular term, master. Okay, I can add it here, because strategy making, policy making to get the work done, that is also a common job of okay. So if you click onto this, you'll get to know further. Master plan, master policy, or master strategy. Now you see this, we get to know about that. So master policy, master strategy is also required to be made by whom? By the top level manager, based on which the middle level manager and the lower level manager will make their individual strategies or individual policies. Policy means a system to do the work. Okay. Next is organizing, coordinating, controlling the activities and resources of various departments. This top level boss are just above the middle level, and the middle level people are basically what? The departmental heads. So departmental heads ka boss kaun hai? Top level. So top level people have to organize, coordinate, control, review, direct the activities of whom? To the middle level people or the departmental heads. Understood? Immediate supervisor, they have to do all these activities with their immediate juniors only. So for top level, the immediate juniors are the departmental heads or the middle level managers. So they have to oversee the activities, the controls and everything of the departments. Establishing liaison with the authorities and organizations such as government agencies, NGOs, media, business, association, etc. Now, what is the meaning of the term liaison? Liaison is basically formal communication. Okay, establishing a formal communication. Formal communication. Now, if any such kind of communication is required to be established with government authority, ministers, media, some business associations like Chamber of Commerce and all, who will do that? Obviously, top level management will do. This is one of the functions of them. And approving the budgets. Middle level managers, to get their work done for their own individual departments, while they plan for their own departmental objectives, they have to prepare budget. Very important. Okay, budgets are the estimated outlay of money, or estimated outlay of cost. Okay, so it is the managers who have to decide on the budget and who have to get it, I told you, they have to get it approved from the top level. So this is how the top level managers have to approve the budget set by the middle level managers for their individual departments. If they find the amount is too big, they will say no, paisa thoda kam karo, itna paisa nahi kharch kar sakte. Otherwise, some more money is needed. Okay, theek hai, add some more money, but this work has to be done. Like this, they can decide and negotiate with the middle level managers and approve the budgets which are presented by the middle level managers for their own respective departments. So middle level managers function already you have understood now. They have to execute the plan, policies which are framed by the top level management. Top level management make the master plan. और क्या काम होगा उन लोगों का middle level का to execute the plan, policy, okay, and preparing the organizational as a whole, the organizational setup. To establish a link in between the top and the lower level, that overall how the organization will function. So they have to just see it, that their lower level people should also work well, contribute. So this is their job as a connecting point in between the top and the lower level. Interpreting and explaining the plans, policies to the lower level managers. Lower level managers do not come in direct contact with the top level, whereas the top level managers, they make the overall plan. So lower level managers might have some some kind of confusions, ambiguities, conflicts related to the plans which are framed by the top level. So it is the duty of the middle level managers to not only explain and communicate the plan, but also interpret the plan well to the lower level managers and make them convinced about the relevance of the plan which are framed by the top level, so that the plan can be well executed. Staffing refers to recruitment, getting people into the organizational system, okay, getting people on board. So staffing of lower level people and providing training to them. Now middle level managers are the bosses of the lower level people, okay, so they have to find out the people who are working, who will be the best one from the society to work for the lower level for their own individual departments, and they have to find out, they have to arrange for the interview, recruitment system, and entire process they have to get done. After that, they have to get it approved from the top level that we have selected this person, so please approve so that this person can join in the lower level of my department. So if the top level managers will have a word with him, and if they find it's okay, so that person will be appointed. That is called staffing. So staffing of lower level people is also one of the functions of the middle level managers. Cooperating with other departments. Now all the departments, they are working in a horizontal setup, okay, like colleagues. So each departmental head should coordinate with the other department. As I told you, coordination is very essential. Establishing coordination. If the production department doesn't do well on time, then what product will come out for sale? If sale doesn't happen, revenue won't come. So if before sale, marketing has to be done, so what the marketing guys will do? Similarly, all the departments have to work in coordination, in communication, okay, in good connection with each other. So maintaining good relation and cooperation with other departments is also the job of each departmental head who are working at the middle levels. This is one of the functions. Establishing link between the top and the lower level, I told you, they come in the middle point. So top level, the smaller pyramid, and the lower level people. So by interpreting the plan, by communicating the plan, also at the same point of time, if lower level people are facing some difficulties, taking their plan to the top level and what should I say, convincing the top level to fulfill the need of the lower level management, that is also the job of the middle level manager. So it's like establishing a link. Recommending ideas to the top level managers and assisting in their decision making. Top level managers will take decision, and I told you decision making is the authority which is mainly vested with the top level management. So if the top level management decides that okay, the middle level manager should also guide or help us or provide us with some information while making the master plans, master policies and strategies for the whole organization. So definitely the middle level managers will be given the right to go and recommend some ideas, some kind of proposals to the top level management, and that will help the top level managers to make the decision. So assisting the top level also is one of the functions of the middle level managers. Now the lower level, supervisory level, they basically supervises the bottom line people, the non-managerial level workers. Okay, so these people are basically designated by the words like the foreman, accountants, sales executive, the office assistants, or factory supervisors, like them. So what kind of tasks they do? They ensure the actual implementation of the policies as per the direction of the top and middle level. I told you the lower level managers, they hardly have any authority. They have to just follow the rules, the policies which are implemented by the senior people, top level managers, which have been interpreted by the middle level managers to them. So they have to get the work done accordingly. So bringing workers grievances. Now what is mean by the term grievances, my dear? Have you ever heard this term? Anyone? Grievance refer to some kind of dissatisfaction. Okay, dissatisfaction, it means, for example, you have something hidden, some covert, overt and covert, two types of dissatisfaction might be there. Okay, for example, you have something to say about, you are not happy and you want to get a solution to the problem. So that kind of problem, that kind of disservice, that kind of mental disturbance, if you keep within yourself, that is called covert, and that takes the form of a grievance. Okay, so grievances are very, very dangerous for an organization. There's some kind of dislikings and conflicts are hidden inside the minds of the people. These people can never be motivated to work. Okay, so this is very, very essential, and